Hello, my name is Annabel Harsing, and today we'll be talking about doing a literature review. Okay, step 2. How does the literature review fit in the entire project? So how does it fit in the entire cycle of doing empirical research? Here you will find the whole cycle of empirical research. So we start out with some questions about what's happening in the real world, and from those we formulate a kind of a problem that we would like to investigate. We then try to find some theories that might explain this problem in preliminary terms, and then design a study to figure out what else might explain this particular problem. We then design a particular operational plan, the research methods, and we conduct some observations about the real world through whatever methods you have chosen. Then we collect data and variables, and we embark on some sort of analysis of these, and then come to conclusions about the real world again. So where do you think the literature review fits into all of this? Well, I guess you'll say theory, absolutely. Uh, but where else? Are there any other aspects of the total research projects where you think the literature review might be helpful? I'll give you a bit of time to think about this. Okay, so how many different parts of the total research project do you think the literature review would fit in? One, a theory we've already identified. Any others? Okay, let's look at the next slide. So, no less than 6 areas in which a literature review might be important. How many did you pick? I bet some of you picked 6, but I suspect many of you only picked 2 or 3. So let's look in a little bit more detail in how the literature review fits into these different elements of the empirical research cycle. So first of all, selecting a topic. You can select a topic based on your observations of the real world, but you can also select a topic by reading either the popular or the academic literature. You might identify some topics that are of interest to you, and in that process you might also identify some theories and what we call research gaps, areas that have not been studied yet. From those, you end up formulating research questions and possibly even hypotheses if you're doing more quantitatively oriented research. So then you also use the literature review for your research strategy and research methods. You might want to use the literature to support a frequently used research approach and say you're actually going to use this same research approach, or you might actually say, well, everyone has used this particular approach, so I'm going to study this particular problem using a really new approach. For instance, using experiments when previous research has mainly focused on interviews or survey methods. But then even if you're going to do the analysis after you've collected your data, you might refer to the literature to find examples on how to do particular analysis. You might even try to find a model article that you can follow in doing your own analysis. And then finally, of course, when you write up your discussion section of your thesis, you compare your results to the previous literature. So again, you go back to the literature. So literature review is incredibly important in many different phases of the research project.